Maybe you spend the time with people you love, you enjoy something, you are so much into the moment, tune in, that you had the feeling that this 2, 3, 5, 10 hours just flew back like 2 minutes. And then on the other side,
If you want to sort of collapse time and sort of see and achieve what you already are planning to or your goals that Anna's referring to, one of the best tools is to visualize that outcome happening. And this is really how
welcome to the Alchemy of Success.
your podcast for career, personal, and consciousness expansion. I'm Pedro.
I'm Anna, and today we're gonna talk about our relationship with time. And most important, are you the master of time or are you the servant of your time? You know? And I want to start with a simple example that I believe that everyone can kind of relate to. You have 100% experience time in your life when time like flows like that, because maybe you spend the time with people you love, you enjoy something, you are so much into the moment, tune in, that you had the feeling that this 2, 3, 5, 10 hours just flew back like 2 minutes. And then on the other side, maybe you were so like bored, or you were doing something that you didn't enjoy. Or for example, I heard a few days ago on a beautiful example. Imagine sitting in the waiting room of a doctor, and the one patient, this person is waiting to get his results of a very challenging test. So, and the other one is just going for regular checkup. Both sit there and wait 5 minutes. But the 5 minutes for the first one feels like hours. And the 5 minutes for the other one feels like a second, you know? And that shows how actually that what Einstein was sharing with us like decades ago about our, how time is relative. It's actually true, and how important it is for us to be aware what is our relationship with time. And before we jump into the topic, why it's so important to create a strong relationship with the time, or maybe just to set this one sentence in advance, is, when we have the feeling that we don't have enough time, that means we often feel that we cannot enjoy life. We often feel that we have just time for the obligation, but we don't have time for that what makes us more joyful, makes us more really experience the life to the fullest, because that is how we have learned in society to live. But what I am experiencing is when we start improving our relationship with time, and instead of thinking that we don't have enough time, but instead of like realizing how we can bend kind of our relationship with time, we suddenly start not only having enough time for our beloved one, for our hobbies, for just doing nothing, like really chill out, Netflix and chill or whatever, what you prefer to do. And we suddenly having plenty of time, because I'm pretty sure that maybe you have asked, depending on which level you're in your work and life balance, but maybe you look at some like serial entrepreneur. They're running it like 10, 20. For example, Tony Robbins is running, I think, around 30 businesses. And yet he has time for his sport. He has time for his awareness and mindfulness time. He has time for his family. And then you see then how this person is able to multiply entrepreneurship and yet have this time. And me working in my company as an employee doesn't have the time. So everybody has 24/7. So it's not like that he has on a physical level more than 24 hours than you. We have the same time. The difference between Tony Robbins, for example, and this other person is that these two persons have a different relationship to time. And before we go into a very practical tools, how you can first understand what is your relationship to time. And second, how you can start changing this relationship with time in your favor. I would like to give you a little theoretical background. So I know that most of us have studied in the school physics. So we heard about the Newtonian physics, we heard about like material and energy and so on. But actually, the science that is coming more and more in our life, it's the quantum physics. And I don't know how many of you have the possibility to tap a little into the wisdom of quantum physics or not. I definitely started going deeper in this direction because it's so inspiring on the one side, but on the other side, it gives me so much a aha moment. And in the quantum physics, science tells us that everything is energy and that everything is created out of particles and that the status of one singular particles depends on the observer. Okay, depending on what the observer is looking, this particle is taken to one or another state. And also what quantum physics says is that a particle can be at the same time in a different state. So if we just take this for a second, okay, a particle can exist in a different state at the same time. And then we think, okay, what we are made of? Oh, we are made of particles. What is our brain made of? What is our consciousness made of? Oh, it's made of particles. So that means actually we can also have our consciousness in the same time in a multiply kind of status. Okay. So that means, is it possible to experience different experience in the same parallel time, depending on what observer point you're taking? Okay. I know that might sound for one or the other one a little challenging. Drop in the comments whether you can relate or what kind of question maybe pops up in your mind, so we can maybe grab it with Pedro and talk more about this one. But I just want to put this like on a simple level, you know. And one of the topics, you know, when I was thinking, okay, if I'm a particle kind of, or I'm created out of a particle and the particles can be in the same time in a multiply like destination, that means I could actually kind of parallel finish or do things in the same time. I know it sounds a little challenging. Just take it and let it sink within you. Okay. So if I could do this one, that means I could use the time. If I learn how to tap into this, how to say skill, it's a skill set. It's just a skill set. If I can tap into this skill set, that means I could use the same amount of time for finishing more workload. Like we say, if we're talking about the area of the working, I can finish more workload that I'm actually gonna do if I just have this one, you know, singular perception. So that is the one idea about quantum physics. And also there is the other one is like, you know, everyone in life want to create something in your life. We always have goals. And please write in the comments if you have one goal that you really want to achieve, but you have the feeling that you're going to need a long time to achieve it. Because Pedro will shows you or will share with you a tool how you can actually shorten this time period. That is a tool used by all successful people using the quantum physics as a science, as an underlying science for this tool. So drop in the comments. I'm really curious if you have a goal where you say, oh, for this one, I'm going to need like a half an hour, half a year or 1 year or 10 years, depending on how big is your goal. I definitely have this one. And now when we think about quantum physics, there is one additional, terms I would like to share with you, and it's the so-called quantum entanglement. And quantum entanglement is nothing more than one state of a particle connected to another state of a particle. And when the one particle change, the other one change. So that is like without any time indifference, it happens in the same times. Okay. So when we take this as a scientific proven fact that the quantum entanglement, we can have a particle that two particles exist or one particle existing in two different states, and you can kind of entangle. So that means you can connect them. And when the one change, the other one change. Then you can use the tool that Pedro will share now with you to understand why this tool is something that can use this science of quantum entanglement to help you not only to connect with your goal, to connect with the version of you that has already achieved this goal, but then you can use it also to collapse time and to bring it near to you with the next exercise that after that I'm going to share with you. So Pedro, maybe you'd like to take on that
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
talk about the truth that I think the most of the people has heard about that, but not from this perspective. At
Sure.
least before me going in the path of the quantum physics, I was like, oh, it's a nice tool, but I never really saw the power behind.
Absolutely. So the tool that Anna's referring to, and I know you guys have heard of this. I don't lie to me. It's visualization. Why I'm pretty confident you've heard of it. It's been attached to manifestation, the key tool for manifestation. So if you think about it, if you want to sort of collapse time and sort of see and achieve what you already are planning to or your goals that Anna's referring to, one of the best tools is to visualize that outcome happening. And this is really how it works. I'll try to take it step by step as much as I can. The first thing you want to do is really tap into exactly what you want to be. What is that version of yourself, that other particle of yourself that has that life, the experience, the internal joy, the one that has that everything you're looking for? What does that look like? And if you can't visualize, just imagine. Because some people get confused saying, "Oh, I can't see any images when I close my eyes." Well, you can at least imagine, meaning the thought pattern of what it is, what an apple looks like. I'm just going to go basic example, what an apple looks like, what a door looks like. So if you can't see it clearly, it's perfectly okay. Use your imagination, use your other senses. So everyone can visualize. So I just want to make sure that you don't get uh, turned down in your own self saying that you can't do it because you can't have this ability. So ignore all of that, guys. I just want you to stay positive. So visualize, imagine, tap into that image of yourself, that particle of yourself that has everything. When you start seeing that, the next step is, how does it feel? How does it feel to have everything? How does it feel to have all that success and whatever success means to you? How does that feel? How connected do you feel to that? And when you feel something, you actually could almost sense it and start moving into it. When you start moving into something, we are actually merging into something. We could be merging into that version of ourselves, or we could be merging into a new experience. Simple as that. So see it, feel it, and really, really hone into it. And then the next step is you take actions. You absolutely need to take an action and move that energy and move that connection, make that image into a reality by simply taking the actions necessary that you need to. And those really are the short versions of what you can do. And a lot of people have done this. A lot of people. You've heard about Michael Jordan doing this, Stephen Curry, all these athletes, successful CEOs doing it, visualizing exactly what they're trying to build for the athletes, what they're trying to achieve, whether it's the game winning shot, whether it's any other achievement that they want to do, or finishing a race ahead of everybody else. They see themselves doing in that moment. They see their technique. And then by the time they get to that position, by the time they get to that experience, it feels like second nature. Then it does become an automatic state of being, because the subconscious of what we know, subconscious doesn't like any unknowns. It really doesn't. I think we've discussed this in previous episodes, guys. The conscious likes what's known. So if you constantly see it, feel it, and you're actually moving towards it, the subconscious basically goes, okay, we've been here before. Let's just create it. And
Feels
guess
so
what happens?
familiar, right? It
Yeah,
feels so familiar.
it feels very familiar.
It's not anymore feel like, oh my God, that's this big jump that I need to take, you know? But it feels, I think, was it Conor McConnor that every time before he went on the ring to fight, he actually visualized like really knocking his
McGregor, Conor McGregor,
yeah,
yeah.
Conor McGregor, yeah.
A lot of people
And
do it.
yeah, but you know, that is so powerful, because like you said, it's not just visualize it, but when you tap into the emotions, it's about like really entangle again this version of you that has already uh, get this promotion, get this the partner in life, has this level of incoming, experience this kind of a life circumstances, and it becomes so familiar that the subconscious mind doesn't fight anymore, right?
That's right. It
And
just, it agrees. You become the master, and the
but
subconscious becomes the
but how
servant.
does it shorten the time? You know,
So how does it shorten the time? Because you actually won't even be noticing the time. Think about it. When you're in the flow and you become doing something so familiar, it just literally seems like time just flying by. You're no longer worried about the seconds. You're no longer worried about the minutes. It just becomes second nature to you. So time just is simply a concept at that point. It's not a reality.
oh, it's about when we take the same example with the two people waiting in the waiting room for the one to get the results, and the other one, for the one is familiar, for the other one is unfamiliar. So the unfamiliar way is scared.
Scary.
It's the time is like expanded. But for the one that is actually so like in tune, that is the right one, the time flies like that, you know.
And they've done that before. If it's to your example, Anna, it's a regular checkup. They've done regular checkups before. It's already known. They could easily just lose themselves into whatever, a magazine, looking at their phone. It's nothing. And then before you know it, oh, I'm already called up. So it's not like the time goes away. It simply doesn't become a point of focus. And that's why it seems like it's moving a lot quicker than it actually is. So and that leads me to the second point, which is, okay, fantastic. You're telling me as the third step of visualization is take action. How the heck do I take action? So people ask me that. I have a million and one things to do. What do you want me to do? I go, fine. Guess what? What I'd like to do, once again, that's what I've done and I've learned over my years, structure your day. The way I structure my day is there's a lot of things to do, but put the 10 most important things. And then out of those 10 most important things, what is the one thing that will actually lead everything else, and everything else will cascade underneath it? What is the one thing that actually would drive everything else that needs to be accomplished? Or from a business perspective as well, obviously, is what is the one critical factor that needs to be done that will impact your goals in your company? From a personal perspective, what is the one thing that will motivate you to do the other things, that will be the fire underneath and actually just spur you to action for the other items, which will seem actually seamless to you once you start doing it. So out of all those things, it's called prioritization, guys. But prioritization is really focusing not just the most important thing that somebody else is telling you is the most important thing, something that you see as the most important thing to achieving your goals. It's really important that you put that personal perspective of what's the most important thing to achieve your goals. You can't just have the external factors telling you what it is. Okay, guys? Because otherwise you won't be self motivated to accomplish those goals. So the second one is really structuring your day accordingly. And when you structure your day, guess what happens? When you take care of the big important items and the other ones start falling through, you'll be able to really just see how fluid the time is. I mean, I used to have meetings all the time and I still needed to do my own work, whether it's contract work or looking at the financials and reviewing them or all these other things that I have on my plate besides my 8 meetings that I had to have during the day of my 8 hours of meetings. So I had to be able to structure my day where I could get everything else. I said of the important meetings, how to collapse everything into 1 or 2 hours, everything else into 1 or 2 hours.
That
So
actually need more time, right? That actually from the pensum need more time.
yes. So that's why people, when they look at my schedule, they used to go, how in the world do you even get all this stuff done? I go, well, I take care of what's important, the most important things. And when I have to do the tasks outside of the meetings, I really zone in into that prioritization to the structuring of what's the most important and just tackle it and just flows really quickly, really quickly. So it looks like I'm able to do a lot of things in a less amount of time. It seems like I have more hours, but I really don't. I have the same amount of hours everybody else does.
But I think what you just share is, and when we go back a little, is you, again, back to the quantum physics, is that there is this sentence that maybe most of the people has heard, is where focus goes is where energy flows. That means when you create a laser focus instead of a focus of like a, light bulb spread around. But when you create a laser focus, you have laser is way more powerful and hits just this one spot, and a light bulb light is everywhere. So, and that is again back to the relationship that we have to time. Is that means when you have the visualization, so that means you have a clear vision where you want to go. So you want to have a clear vision also how your day should looks like. That means when we prioritize time with our family, our health and everything. So when we put it as a priority, then we made the space in our day and we say, okay, that is our focus where it goes. So that means for the work that actually needed to take more time, we say, okay, that is the priority that you have, but that is the other priority. And that's a very good point, because I used to ask also a friend of mine, she asked, I don't have a partner in life. And I asked her, do you have a space in your time, in your day? Did you create a space for this partner to enter actually your life? So do you have, when you open your schedule, do you have a schedule where it says appointment with my spouse, with my partner, or coffee date with my friend, or play date with my child, or a sport? Did you create like you do it for your daily work activity? Did you put also a block in your time? When you don't do it, it means you don't put it as a priority and you don't create the space. That means you left the time to be completely light bulb into this one life areas. And that's why it seems sometimes that people who have multiple businesses, but they put priority as their health, as their relationship, they can manage way more because they actually make it as a priority. Like you said, they visualize it, they know where they want to go, but also they have the structure in your daily life where it says, that is my priority A, B, C, D. Okay. So that is where I'm going. And also the space for this. And that's so beautiful, because when you say I focus and I complete it, then you actually gather all your energy from the outside and put it there. So that's why you create like a better time connection, or you have like a, how to say it? You create a better time relationship because when you put more energy, you need less time to complete the task.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that is one of the problems nowadays I see corporate. You get your email notification turned on. You have your notification turned on in the chat. You have the notification, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever. So that means every time when you try to complete something, you get this 1,000 times of distraction. And this does disturb your energy. And instead of laser focus, you create the light bulb again.
That's right. And to expand that even further, Anna, is if you go with that mindset of what I'm really focusing on, that laser focus that you keep talking about, what I talk about as well, is all these distracting emails. They're not important, because if you're in a meeting, you cannot be doing the emails, responding to the emails and adding any value to that meeting. So you simply just let it be. So whatever is happening in that space, it doesn't matter. You're focused on what needs to happen, and then when the time is available to you, you're the master. Remember, you're not the servant. When the time is available to you, then you respond accordingly and you prioritize those emails. So it's really a function of making sure what's important to you and what's going to bring the outcome that you're looking for and how easily it could be achieved. So that makes you less stressful too.
Definitely. And when you have this priority, and I think we have talked in previous conversation about that, it's also the culture in the company, because when everybody start to be aware of prioritizing the different tasks where you put your energy, so where your focus go and the energy. And if the expectation is that you will be in the same time in a meeting and the same time answering an email, and then of course answering please the chat of the colleagues and so on. So like this, this distortion of energy, that is not a culture that is supporting high quality of work. And it's a culture that actually is, how to say, destined for failure. Because it's not our nature. Multitasking in this case is not our nature. But also on the other side, I can remember for myself when I was working a little less because I need to pick my child from the kindergarten. I was able to do the same amount of work in a less time, because I really had communicated, okay, that is my availability. That is where I'm going. And that is my focus of the day, and everything else I drop it. And more focus I put to this, less from the distraction, other tasks came on my desk. So it's the same happening in your day. If you say, okay, my priority is to go to sport every single day or every other day, and you put it this, and you actually drop the pen, drop the mouse, whatever at this time, when you keep on continuous, and that was exactly the point that I want to say. It's not just when you visualize what you wanted and when you act accordingly. What actually happening is you are tapping more into this version of yourself. So that means I ask myself every time, what my version of myself who's already achieved this one will spend her time to. Let me give an example. Pedro was a CFO. Okay. So imagine if a CFO needs to take care for every single small task. How much quality work this person will be able to do and how much value this person will add to this company. Not a lot, right? So that means he needed to really define, this is where I put my energy and this is where I don't put my energy. Right, Pedro?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Perfect. So if we take this example and we take that, I don't know where you currently stay in your life. I'm talking to our listener or the one watching the YouTube. I don't know where you work, but maybe you have some goal that you'd like to achieve. And like we take a career goal. So it's easier to resonate with the CFO topic. So that means imagine you're like maybe leading a team of 10 people and you enjoy it, but you'd like to go on a department level. Okay. So when you visualize this one and you start in quantum entanglement, so that means you start connecting yourself with this version of yourself and start more and more like prioritizing the task on your desk that are more related to this position, you know, so the people can see that your quality resonates with this position. You need to ask every time when you do something is what my version that I'm willing to tap into, to entangle and to bring into the through the time quicker to me. Because what we're sharing with you is a way how you bring it quicker. So that means you learn how to time collapse. Because maybe you think you need 1 year for this, but maybe in half a year you can have it. You know, if you learn how to connect with this. So when every time when you ask, okay, what is the version of me already doing this position will do now? Where I'm gonna focus my energy? What will be the task that I'm gonna prioritize for this day? If you say my priority is to have more better relationship with my with your partner, then is to check again, okay, what my version of me will do. And every time when you A, visualize, B, structure your day and prioritizes in towards this visualization, and C, you really ask yourself every time, am I acting from this version of me that I'm willing to attract? What you actually do is you are shortening the time between the happening and the now, between this version coming into reality and the version that you are, between you maybe getting this position or experience this and the version of you that didn't experience it.
Hmm.
And I believe, Pedro, unconsciously, you have done it the same when you move from one level to the next level. You prioritize, okay, that is what I'm doing, that is what I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes in the form or shape of a delegation as well. As you go up the ranks, you become a manager, you go to director, VP, SVP, EVP, CFO, whatever those, or whatever path you're in, whoever's listening, is knowing what's important to me that I need to execute based on your skill set, because not everybody has the same skill set. That's why we have different roles. And what are the things that can be done by somebody that reports to you, because they will need that experience, number one, which is great. But number two, they could grow into that capability and that asset, that skill set could be molded into them, because they will also help them elevate in their career. So this is how you actually push up the entire department, by also delegating properly.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But as we're talking about time, it's like more about, you know, you becoming conscious
Mhm.
about, okay, where you consciously put your energy and time,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the last tool we want to share with you today is, and that is a tool of awareness. It's okay. We have shared now so much around time and how you can go with time bending, or how you can maybe, like kind of better your relationship with time. But as always, we first need to be aware what is actually our current relationship with time. So what we want you to do is to take a journal. If you're not the kind of journal type writing with a hand, you can just take your notes on your phone and just write down during the day, observe what is your relationship with time and what are your thoughts regarding time. For example, sometimes I think, that takes me so much time. Oh, I lost so much time here. You know, all this time, all these thoughts regarding time. Oh, I get so much to do, so I won't have enough time for sport. Like, start first observing what is your current actual relationship to time. Do you think you have a plenty of time? Or do you think you have less time to do what you actually wanted to do? So this is the first point. And the best way to be able to observe it is when you actually note it during the day and take notes. And then you can look at the end of the evening. Ah, that is what I thought. Okay, today, actually I wanted to go to sport, and then I wanted to meet with Pedro, and then I wanted maybe also to have like a chill out, time for me. But the only thing that I was able to do is just like finish my work, just put some food in the microwave, eat it quickly, and then fall asleep on the couch, for example. So actually that was what you wanted to experience, but that is what you experienced. So that means to see, okay, what is my relationship with time, that instead of like putting this, because relationship has always with priorities to do. It's always about priority. So when you start observing it, then the second step is you take conscious decision, small steps to shift your relationship with time. Okay. And you can do it by many, many different ways. One of it is just by maybe consciously inhaling and exhaling, just pausing and remind, okay, I'm the master of the time and not the servant of the time. And I say, okay, when I'm the master of the time, what is what I want to believe about the time? What is I want to believe about the relationship? And maybe that could be, oh, I can do my work way quickly that I wanted to do. And then I have enough time to go and do my sport. Okay. Or maybe you can say, this task normally takes me 1 hour, maybe your emails. And you say, okay, my intention is to finish this task in 45 minutes and become like a time bender. And next time, maybe you go to 30 minutes. So that means you start experimenting how you can create a better relationship with your time. Maybe when you go to the gym, you think always, oh, I need an hour so I can get the intention of workout I need. And you say, you know what? No, in 20 minutes, I can get the same intention that I feel that my body had the same amount of um, activity I needed to achieve my goal. And then started playing with it. See it as a game. Children are so good in playing this game. You can see them when they sometimes play, they're so into the emotion that they completely forget time and space. And that is where you can start like experimenting. Okay, where do I like to start learning time bending? And go on a walk and just go like, okay, I'm here and now. With every step, you say, I'm here and now, I'm here and now. And observe how maybe a 30 minutes walk felt like, depending on what is your, connection to time, to see whether it felt longer or it felt shorter, and to see how you can adjust this. Play with it. So visualize where you want to go. Visualize what you want to achieve. And by engaging with the emotion, the activity and priority, start seeing how this help you to shorten the time between the version that you want to achieve and the version you are. And then, observe where you are. Observe what is your relation with time and start playing. Start like really shifting this time. And maybe even if you're the kind of person who loves to work with affirmation, to say, I'm a powerful time bender. I'm the master of the time, so I can really dictate the time. And one last observation that I had. When you do something new that is gives you excitement, the times runs. When you do something that is familiar, when you do something that is familiar, the times feels way slowly. And I give you the best example. When we fly to a vacation, we go in the plane, we go to the vacation, the times feel so quickly. We're flying to the place of vacation and we're arriving and it feels so quickly passing by. You fly back, you have the same amount of time in the plane as flying to the vacation spot. It feels so slowly because you're not going back to this, okay, not so exciting, my old life, like my old daily life. So if you want time to run quicker, introduce more unknown, introduce more excitement. And one of the way to do is when you focus fully in the now. When you focus fully in the now, you have the feeling that the time runs quicker and you can accomplish more within it than when you know, focus like all around. And that is how in a shorter term time, you can manage to create more value, more work, experience more than if you have the feeling of, oh, that is already something I know. So introduce in every activity you do this freshness of the new uh, way of seeing it. Even if it's like, cheers, drinking your water, and just in this moment exploring maybe the taste and giving something new.
Good point. Good
When you
point.
create it excited and new, the time feels like running quicker. So it feels like you can accomplish more things in a vacation when you can accomplish more things. You're visiting this, you're visiting this, you're doing this, like your whole day is like, right?
Hmm.
Especially if it's like this kind of vacation. I love this adventurous one. It's always like that.
Time just flies.
Definitely. So we are very excited to listen, to hear from you. Mm, And maybe you can drop in the comments, not maybe do it now. What is your first answer that comes when I ask you what is your relationship to time? Do you think you have always enough time, or do you think you never have enough time for everything? Just with this yes or no, just say, yeah, I have enough time, or no, I never have enough time for the things. It's just a starting point and start to work from there and improve the relationship. Believe me, when you improve it, you're going to have way more joyful life where you can have more things done in the same amount of time. Like the most successful people, that is the way how they manage it. They just recreated their relationship to time. It's not that they have more time. They have just a different relationship to the time than you and me.
That's right. So become the master of your time. Don't become the servant.
Have a wonderful day. Bye bye. Or evening or night, depending on where you're on time zone and when you're watching. Bye
Goodbye,
bye.
guys. Bye. Thanks for watching. Click on one of the videos below and don't forget to like and subscribe.